the Deputy Chief of Mission, Dr. Delana Soyes of the United States Indo-Pacific Command in your team, Major Alexei Feinblot of the U.S. Army Pacific in your team, representatives of the U.S. government, representatives of the 6 civil society organizations, representatives of various government ministries, representatives of the disciplined forces and development partners in U.S. organizations, Nisambula Vinaka, and a very good morning to you all. So let me first of all welcome you all not only to Fiji, but to the Fiji First Women, Peace and Security National Action Plan Consultation workshops. I hope you will not only enjoy the workshop, but all your time here in our beautiful country. So welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, to begin with, the UN Security Council resolution of the 1325 adopted in October 2000 specifically addresses and commits UN state parties and UN machinery to incorporate gender concerns. Fiji has also endorsed regional agreements that address women, peace and security concepts. The 2050 strategy for the Blue Pacific continent is the region's long-term plan for regional concentration and cooperation and opportunities to shape the future that we want towards long-term well-being and prosperity based on our terms. The strategy is the Pacific's opportunity to strengthen our unity and resilience, to anticipate, prepare for and respond to climate events, geographical, geopolitical and security trends, and unanticipated shocks. So the 2050 strategy has 7 thematic and 5 strategic pathways, and they include Theme 2 on people-centered approach, Theme 3 on peace and security, and 5 climate change and disasters. Inclusion and equity as a strategic pathway ensures that the Women, Peace and Security agenda is mainstreamed across all the themes as part of gender equality agenda. The Pacific Island Forum Secretariat is currently working on revitalizing the 2012 Pacific Leaders Gender Equality Declaration to ensure it is current, relevant, and reflects current and future challenges. The WPS agenda is a key priority for gender equality in the region and will be included in the revitalization consultation process. The BOE Declaration for Regional Security has 4 key focus areas, one of which is human security. WPS is the key component of the human security framework under the BOE Declaration. Both these regional declarations, like the other existing declarations led by leaders linked to the 2050 strategy for the Blue Pacific continent to ensure that we are implementing the 2050 strategy. It is also important that all national and regional policies are aligned to it. WPS thus needs to consider women, peace and security in a broader sense and not limited to enforcement only. At the regional level, the Women, Peace and Security agenda is covered under the Pacific Leaders Gender Equality Declaration and the BOE Declaration for Regional Security. Fiji endorsed and is a party to the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action 1995, which addresses women and armed conflict. In addition, Fiji is a party to the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, CEDAW, and this provides for the protection of women's rights. The social justice affirmative action and the human rights of women is also entrenched in the Constitution of Fiji. At this juncture, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to acknowledge the previous work of the Fiji Women, Peace and Security Coordinating Committee. It was through this submission in 2003 that Fiji realized a major step in the inclusion of women and an appreciation for the unique role all women play in the national security and defense of Fiji. In May 2008, under this government, the Cabinet endorsed that the minister responsible for women, gender and development be part of the National Security Council. This includes the participation of the Permanent Secretary of the same ministry, its head of department and divisional heads as members of the officials and committee. Women, peace and security concepts and ideas promote women's full and equal participation in defense and security sectors as prerequisite to achieving sustainable peace. I'm sure you'll all agree that when we include women in decision-making processes, when women do find a seat at the table where their voices are heard, we can make a lot of difference. Additionally, in this Women, Peace and Security National Action Plan, with its equal inclusion and consideration of women, a gender perspective is mainstreamed across the entire country in terms of our government's plans, policies, activities, and investments. The national plan is a roadmap, thus, to an inclusive approach to government and incorporates the voices of both civil society and government agencies working together to ensure a whole of society's view to human security. I'd also like to put on record our appreciation, the ministries and the government's appreciation to all the NGOs and CSOs that continuously support our work. Your work does not go unnoticed, your voices are heard, and your efforts are seen by the government and the ministry at whole. So greater inclusion will provide a more inclusive, human-centered approach to address the complex security challenges that we all face today. Evolving threats as climate change, food security, gender-based violence, and human trafficking all require the women's peace and security guiding principles, which emphasize a whole of government, whole of society, and a localized approach to these complex human security threats. At this point, let me just add this on. Gender-based violence, I think, is the biggest threat to human security. And in Fiji and the Pacific, we have that as a very serious issue. Recently at the PIF's women meeting that we had with all the women leaders of the region, almost every country expressed their concerns about the issues that gender-based violence brings to the region. And it's no shame to say, and it's a fact, that Fiji probably ranks the highest in the region. And there's a lot of work that we have to do that are being done by NGOs and civil society organizations, but we need to elevate our efforts to ensure that we have policies and legislations which will help us combat this social crisis. And like I said, I acknowledge the participation of all civil society organizations, government agencies, and observers working together towards the development of Fiji's Women, Peace and Security National Action Plan. This will strengthen our interoperability, build our government's institutional capacity, and improve our governing effectiveness while addressing the root causes of instability. In order to find a solution to any issue, we need to find the root causes, and I hope your contributions will allow us to find the root causes. Like on the same note, the Fiji's National Action Plan, which we are embarking on in terms of gender violence, is a holistic approach where we are trying to consult with all sectors across the society, across the government, to find out what really is the root cause of that. So without finding the root cause of any problem, ladies and gentlemen, you and I both know it's very difficult to find a solution, because it's going to be all talk if there's no action. So your National Action Plan is probably by right the first step towards finding some real causes and real solutions of the problems that we face. So through training and education events such as this workshop, our agencies, civil society partners, and ministerial departments will gain the skills and gender concepts to understand that is needed to build upon our past achievements and program initiatives. We cannot overlook the achievements we've made. Yes, we've made achievements in this area. Even though it's slow, but we have made an achievement. And a step towards admitting that a problem exists is probably the best step forward. And I hope you will all help us in that. I'm aware that the processes to be undertaking in the development of the Fiji Women, Peace and Security National Action Plan is well aligned to what my ministry has used for the development of the National Action Plan to prevent violence against women and girls, as I mentioned before. It also includes the process of undertaking gender analysis, gender-responsive budgeting, concepts that my ministry is mainstreaming across government through our Gender Transformative Institutional Capacity Development Program, the ICD. This therefore ensures that working to develop the Women, Peace and Security Action Plan does not require the introduction of new processes, but rather complements and aligns to the work that we are currently doing to mainstream gender using a whole of government and a whole of society approach. I look forward to your coordination committee's way forward and the product development and timelines you will outline upon the completion and graduation from this workshop. I acknowledge and appreciate the initiatives of the Minister for Defense, National Security and Policing and his team as the lead ministry for the implementation of the UN Security Council's resolution in coordinating the development of Fiji Women, Peace and Security National Action Plan. I acknowledge and sincerely appreciate the US government and in particular the United States Indo-Pacific Command in cooperation with logistical support from the US Army Pacific for coming forth to provide technical support to Fiji in this work. Thank you once again for your service of our nation and commitment to a better future for all our Fijians. It is indeed my pleasure to declare this first ever Fiji Women, Peace and Security Consultations workshop open. God bless you all and please enjoy the consultation.
Big smiles, look up.